Friends. Sound. We have sound. Yes. Good.
Perfect.
Victoria's on the move. Good idea.
Trying to get home
I see.
so I can do the meditation, which I can on a walk too. So
Why not? Yeah.
that's true, a walking meditation.
There was a little piece on CNN of three things to do about improving your meditation. And it was actually quite lovely. And they had an old, I think, Sri Lankan monk. And they asked him, how many hours a day do you meditate? And he got very quiet. And then he smiled and he said, 24. Well, good morning. This is Robert Beatty here at this spot. This that takes itself to be that. A little bit less identified with it, I think. It is the 8th of November. A week from this Wednesday, Jennifer and I leave early for Florida, where we will go to Fort Lauderdale, Miami area, and pick up her mom, who's in memory care, and spend a few days getting her moved out of her place there, and then bringing her out here. So I'll be gone for about a week, actually. Quite an adventure, I imagine. So this is a broadcast of the Portland Insight Meditation Community. It's more than a broadcast. It's an opportunity to be together and to practice on an ongoing basis. And I'd like to welcome any of you that are here for the first time or that are new. We've been doing this since the beginning of COVID, the morning meditation. And as has been my custom, I'm going to share a poem. And then we'll sit together. And then we'll have an announcement or two, perhaps, and then an open opportunity to share what's happening for you. I was drawn back to this poem this morning. Is everything... Oh, no, I need to record. Almost forgot. Record to this computer.
Recording in progress.
I forget where I got this. It was some publication recently, relatively recently. It's Fred Lamotte. The poem is its first line. Its title is its first line. My ancestry DNA results came in. I'm going to try to read it, or my intention is I'm going to stay very awake as I read, which will mean I'll be aware of my lips moving and the sounds and any associations with the words. My ancestry DNA results came in. Just as I suspected, my great-grandfather was a monarch butterfly. Much of who I am is still wriggling under a stone. I am part larva, but part hummingbird, too. There is dinosaur tar in my bone marrow. My golden hair sprang out of a meadow in Palestine. Genghis Khan is my fourth cousin, but I didn't get his dimples. My loins are loaded with banyan seeds from Sri Lanka, but I descended from Ravana, not Ram. I'm going to let the dog out because he'll make much noise. All right. There you go. Another imperfect poetry recitation. We're not in any hurry, are we? Oh, let's hurry. Let's get hurry because we want to get to meditating, or maybe not. My ancestry DNA results came in just as I suspected. My great-great-grandfather was a monarch butterfly. Much of who I am is still wriggling under a stone. I am part larva, but part hummingbird too. There is dinosaur tar in my bone marrow. My golden hair sprang out of a meadow in Palestine. Genghis Khan is my fourth cousin, but I didn't get his dimples. My loins are loaded with banyan seeds from Sri Lanka, but I descended from Ravana, not Ram. My uncle is a mastodon. There are traces of white people in my saliva. 3.7 billion years ago, I swirled in golden dust, dreaming of a planet overgrown with lingams and yonis. Most recently, say 60,000 BCE, I walked on hairy paws across the land bridge, joining Sweden to Botswana. I am the bastard of the sun and moon. I can no longer hide my heritage of raindrops and cougar scat. I am made of your grandmother's tears. You conquered rival tribesmen of your own color, chained them together, marched them naked to the coast, and sold them to colonials from Savannah. I was that brother you sold. I was the slave trader. I was the chain. Admit it. You have wings, vast and golden like mine, like mine. You have sweat, black and salty like mine, like mine. You have secrets silently singing in your blood, like mine, like mine. Don't pretend that the earth is not one family. Don't pretend we never, ever hung from the same branch. Don't pretend we don't ripen on each other's breath. Don't pretend we did not come here to forgive. Don't pretend that the earth is not one family. Don't pretend we never hung from the same branch. Don't pretend we don't ripen on each other's breath. Don't pretend we didn't come here to forgive. So let us participate in the great dance of life. If we're sitting, let's notice sitting. If you're walking, notice walking. If you're lying down, be lying down. It is an ancient ritual. The practice of stopping our headlong flight into something, our unconscious expectation to finally arrive somewhere. If I just get this done and achieve that and fix this part of myself, and then I will arrive. Let us, instead of setting a goal in the future for our distant arrival, let us arrive right here where we are now. To notice the aliveness of the body that breathes. To notice its in-breathing and out-breathing. Each breath has this appearance. It comes onto the stage of life, breathing in. And then there's breathing in for a while until it stops. And then there's breathing out. And then it's gone. There may well be thoughts. There could be a lot of thoughts. There could be an obsession of thoughts. The mind could be trying to sort something out, figure something out, categorize something, make a plan so it would be safe. There is no place safe, really. All of our plans are, in the end, failing. So for right now, while things are pretty darn safe, sitting in a warm room, food in the fridge, sitting and breathing, noticing desire, wanting, craving, or its opposite, aversion or disliking. Notice the experiences which are pleasant. They are moreish, want more of this, or unpleasant, that are want lessish. What if it were true that all of the contents of mind are irrelevant? The five hindrances might be in full blossom. What if it doesn't matter? Because the five hindrances come into being and then disappear. There's nothing substantial about them. The enlightenment factors blossom. There's clarity. And then it goes away too. It doesn't mean we don't shape our destiny by cultivating wholesome mental states, starting with mindfulness. But little bit by little bit, we drop the need to be constantly interfering. The breath breathes itself. The thoughts think themselves. Resting back into this moment as the body breathes. The first foundation of mindfulness is, of course, matter, the body. We might take a moment to scan through the body. Where is it holding tight? Some common places are the eyebrows, the forehead, the cheeks, the lips, the tongue. Ruth Dennison would take us sometimes on, she once did a 90-minute guided meditation with me privately that never went above my jaw or below the top of the breastbone. All in the neck, softening the tongue. Notice if there's tightness in the gut. And all those sensations deep in the organs, softening. Is there tightness in the forearms? Is there something to release in the thighs, in the calves? And simply softening into choiceless awareness, observing the body as it is, which is a cloud of sensations. Perhaps we can be aware of the entirety of the body and the fact of the breathing at the core of it. Breathing in, breathing out. The sense doors, the eye, the ear, the nose, the tongue, the sensing body and the mind. Experience contact with sense objects. And these contacts are pleasant, unpleasant, or not yet decided. It behooves us to become observant of the liking and disliking that springs from sense contact. Is the experience of sitting here right now overall pleasant? Or is it unpleasant? the sensations of the breath coming and go. Pleasant, unpleasant, or indeterminate. A worrisome thought, pleasant, unpleasant, or undecided. In this way, we open our investigation to include the way the conditioned mind and body result in us behaving certain ways. And we begin to open the door of the experience of choice. And all the while, home with great ease to in-breathing and out-breathing. If the mind is in some way in uproar, just notice that. Don't make a self out of it. It's not, I'm worrying. It's just, oh, there's worry. In meditation, there's only now. We say things like, I'm going to meditate for half an hour, or I meditated for an hour. What's the actual experience? There is waking up from a wandering mind, and mindfulness is present now. It has nothing to do with a minute ago or 5 minutes from now. It's just this. aware of the quality of mind which is present right now. And transitioning from formal sitting into whatever comes next with grace, with kindness, no hurry. May all beings everywhere, beings of all kinds, all of us that know birth and death, may we all remember our true great nature. May my waking up be of benefit to my loved ones, friends, enemies, all beings. I have something I'd like to share with you. There's a man named Roger Walsh. He was one of the 13 of us that met at the first West Coast Dharma teachers meeting a long time ago. There was Jack Cornfield and Roger and Ruth Dennison and James Barres and Sylvia Borstein and several other people. Anyway, Roger has been the director of psychiatry training at UC Irvine for a long time, since back then. And he's done the 3-month retreat at IMS at least 25 times, I think. So anyway, I came across his name, or I thought of him, and I wrote him. Looked him up and wrote him and just made a connection. I haven't seen him in 20 years, at least. And he wrote a nice note back. But what I want to share with you is his signature on his email. So he's got Roger Walsh, Psychiatry Department, University of California Medical School, Irvine. And then his digital addresses. And then this. What makes for lasting happiness? Everyone wants to be happy, but what makes for lasting happiness? Interestingly, research is now validating ancient wisdom. Money, for example, is surprisingly ineffective. It can alleviate the suffering of deprivation, but above a certain minimum does precious little to increase lasting happiness. So what does work? Many things will bump up happiness temporarily, but long-term is a very different matter. Researchers have found 3 things that do this effectively. What are they? Number 1, cultivate gratitude. Particularly effective is writing down something each day for which you feel grateful. Number 2, reframing difficult experiences positively. This is the old practice of looking for the silver lining. And number 3, generosity. The old wisdom is true. In giving to others, we give to ourselves. And the happy result is a helper's high. May you be happy. Then there's a couple of electronic interviews. Candle is on Sunday night, 6:30. And I think that's all the information I have to share with you that way. Anything that you would like to share? Questions, comments, songs of praise and delight, ecstatic whirling and in hopeless abandon to the One.
Good morning, Robert. It's
Hello,
Joe.
Joe.
So lately, I've I've had the life experience of gathering everyone together to show off my new magic trick. And when I yank the tablecloth, the candelabras, the place setting, and the dishes all come crashing to the floor. And I say, now for my next trick, I place the tablecloth back on the table and start putting things back in order again. And I woke up this morning with deer eating apples out the kitchen window, beautiful sunlight streaming in the window, sitting down to Sangha again, and watching hummingbirds at the feeder, and realizing I had this heart full of gratitude and joy for this beautiful morning. And if it wasn't for Sangha, if it wasn't for sitting with all you good people and hearing what you have to say and sharing, 2 years ago, that would not be my experience, but it is now. And what fills my heart more than anything is the gratitude of recognizing that without this time spent, I would not be in this wonderful place, stacking the place setting and the dishes back on the table with gratitude for the day and the opportunity and for my life. And so thank you all, and especially thank you, Robert, because that's where my life is now compared with where it was when I went to Brighton Bush and met you for the first time. So,
Hooray! Thanks, Joe.
yep, thank you.
I'd like to make an invitation, to offer an invitation to those who are habitually silent. Some of us some of us are flaming extroverts. I hardly know what I'm going to think till I say it. There's others of you I know who are very quiet, and I just want you to know that your voices are welcome here. Some of us were very severely silenced in childhood. And so it's a big step. It makes me feel teary. It, it's a big step to take a chance and share ourselves in a public setting. But I'd like you to know that I'm conscious of that and encourage. No, not one micron of pressure is intended by this. Just the acknowledgement of openness to receiving what you have to offer. Oh, I'm not getting. Oh no, I'm getting sound. Yeah, I was. I should mention this heads up. I promised I would announce it frequently. Um, a circumstance happened some months ago where someone got quite hurt because I wasn't responding to what she had shared. And she had shared it in the chat. And I don't follow the chat. I can't. split enough between this screen and that screen and the collapsing sound. And
Robert, it's Tamara.
hello, Tamara.
Good morning, Robert. Hey, who was the author of that poem you read?
It's right here. It's Fred Lamotte, Lamotte.
That's right. You said it. Okay.
Fred
Thank
Lamotte.
you, Robert.
I'm going to stick it in the PIMC listserv right now. Connections.
Thank you.
Connections. There it is.
Robert,
There it goes.
someone on the chat was asking about Mr. Walsh's comments. I'll post them. I think I sent that email you, and I'll post it on Connections. The closing of
Oh, yeah. Great.
Walsh's.
Thanks, Jim.
Yeah.
Roger
Robert?
also held the record for the world's highest dive when he was young. He dived off the Brisbane Harbour Bridge and survived. He's been kind of an extremist his whole life. I mean, he's done so much deep meditation, among other things.
Robert, Sangha, good morning.
Eileen,
I'm one of the
hello.
ones who never speaks up, obviously. But I was waiting for other people, but I wanted to share this. When you were reading Mr. Walsh's listings of what makes us happy, it made me think of one of the most favorite movies all time in my life from the time I was a child. And it was completely alien to anything I actually knew, but I responded to it. And I think that this is, you could call it a Buddhist influenced or just the whole totality of what's important. And that's the movie Pollyanna. And I think it came from a book and it was in the 60s. And I just wish you would all watch it. I saw it just a few years ago. And what attracted me to it, that I actually sometimes do, is she was an orphan and she always saw the silver lining. But what she did is she would say, I'm glad this happened because this happened because this and this made everything good. And that was the entire process. And of course, the beauty of her heart and her ability to see all of that changed the lives of all the people, including, some of it is stock characterization, her aunt and other people. It just came to mind again. I don't think it's come to mind when we've been doing the sittings. So I just wanted to pass that on to everybody. And I know that, just one more comment about that. When I had the really bad herniated disc and I was really basically immobile pretty much for months and in terrible pain until I was cured of it. One of the things that a nurse said to me is, wow, it's really amazing. She said, you always kind of find something good out of something. And I said, who are you speaking about? Is that me? But in that situation, because it wasn't emotionally charged, it wasn't my fault. So I could kind of I was completely present with it. And that was before I came back here. And I was just so touched because I immediately thought, oh my God, from the time I was 8, 9, that Pollyanna that I responded to, it's like exactly the same thing that eventually brought me here.
Beautiful. I remember Pollyanna, the movie.
Right? Did you love it?
I
Did it
don't
make you
remember.
cry?
I don't remember. I do, but I remember the movie. I liked it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Here is the only book I've saved from childhood.
Really? Cool.
From the
Oh, look at you have it. Oh my God.
right here.
Oh, that makes me, wow.
Haley Mills, starring as Pollyanna.
Huh.
But there was a book before this book. This was the children's
Right.
Walt Disney version.
What a trip that you just put your hands on that. That's so cool.
I've been reorganizing around here, and I had just come across it the other day. So
You know, I came across just last night. I'm cleaning up. I'm getting rid of stuff in a very systematic way, and I came across this little book. If you look up close, you can see there's a strip of tape, and then there's trees, and there's a little dancing person at the bottom, and inside it says July 7, 1976, and it starts advantages of metta. Helps me relax, frees mind of spin, seedbed of creativity, feels good, leads out of samsara, and it's in this cute little legible writing that I have no relationship to at all now. And the whole book is full. August 11th, Robert Beatty is strong today. Feelings of appreciation for Mom and Dad, who taught me honesty, compassion, to care. To Mr. Gourlay for all the time he spent. And then it's this list of Buddhist terms. I've been like, here's the hindrances. It's what a trip. So, and then some bad dreams. But the whole book, I mean, I actually filled a journal. It's a cute little thing. This one I'm not going to throw away.
Good morning, Robert. It's David.
David, hello.
Hello, Robert. Good morning, Sangha. Good to be practicing with you all again. So just, I thought I would mention that I did a retreat this past weekend with Christina Feldman on the Eightfold Path, and it was quite a helpful, short sit. She was based in the UK, so it was just a half day. But one thing she mentioned in the sit that I thought was helpful was she translates dukkha as vulnerability. And I find that to be a really helpful way to approach it, sort of vulnerable to the insufficiencies of thinking that the moment is not enough, you know? So I found that quite helpful this weekend, so I thought I would share it with the Sangha and yourself.
Thank you. Thank you, Christina.
Yes, she's a gift. I haven't sat with her for quite some time. She's so feisty. Here's the thing with Christina. She actually lived when I was a teenager in Port Alberni on Vancouver Island. And she still has family on Vancouver Island, so she's back on the West Coast quite often, apparently. Yeah. There you have it.
Should get her to drop in on us sometime on one of her trips. Vulnerability. We are so vulnerable.
Hi, Robert. It's Carol.
Hello, Carol.
Good morning.
Good morning.
It is pouring rain here. So yesterday morning, I was on the way to meditation on Quadra, and we were reading your book, which is wonderful. And I was rushing, as I tend to do, because I seem to have a hard time transitioning from one place to the other, and that's why I appreciate Zoom so much. Is I can just be there at home. But in any case, I was on my way. It was the first Sunday that I haven't had to work for a long time, and I was rushing along, and almost hit a bird. Well, birds are very, very clever, so they don't usually let themselves get hit. But it was a moment of wake up, and it reminded me of how in the past when I was rushing, I hit a deer one time on the way to the dentist from not being mindful, and it reminded me of a couple other incidents in my life where there was a lack of mindfulness, when I fell off the deck in my 40s and broke a couple of vertebrae. And at the beginning of the summer, I was on my bike and had a bike accident and all, where my leg is still not recovered. I've been suffering pain from that ever since. And I just, in retrospect, realized in all three cases, I was totally distracted and my mind was not there.
Yeah.
And I can't remember what I was thinking about, but I know that I was thinking about something else. And so I suddenly started thinking, now, wouldn't it be incredible if we incorporated mindfulness training more so into our society, where it was being taught in schools, where children would have that experience and even have mindfulness exercises during their school, and even into our justice or our prison system, where when somebody was incarcerated and put into prison, that the first thing or one during their time there, that they would be able to experience mindfulness training and perhaps even have mindfulness exercises, or not so much exercises, but perhaps community service where mindfulness from that training was to be incorporated. And I just had all these ideas, or this insight and inspiration, and then at the same time realized, as I was thinking of all this, I was once again not being mindful of my driving on the way to meditation. Anyway.
That's funny. Oh, there. Well, that's a lovely observation, right? For what it's worth, there is a lot of mindfulness in the schools. I know Nick Johnson, one of our colleagues here at PIMC, is at one of the major high schools, and he has 2 sections for the whole year. He has 2 sections of 35 kids, young people, in each for 90 minutes twice a week, and he's teaching them mindfulness. And then there's another organization called Peace in the Schools, which has mindfulness across the schools here in Portland. And there are lots of people teaching mindfulness in prisons. So wonderful ideas. Keep it up.
Yeah, well, I also in the past have seen a couple of videos about mindfulness or insight meditation in prisons, one in India and one in Seattle, actually, which was really amazing. And it's great to hear about that in schools. I just think it would be wonderful if it was happening more so.
Of course.
But yeah,
yeah,
baby steps. Thank you.
Well, I saw Aaron and Mo. There they are. But I should check. Is anybody sitting with something? I need to go rather directly this morning after 8. Is there anybody sitting with something that you would like to share before we go? Or that needs to be spoken before we go?
Hey, Robert.
Mr. Blood.
Just real quick, you may be aware the Children's Garden there in Portland is a preschool based on mindfulness.
Oh, I didn't know.
It's through Endeavor Schools. My niece is the head of their education specialist. It's based in Florida. They've got about 100 schools around the country, and the one here in Portland is kind of the first in their group that is focusing their experience with very young children on mindfulness. The Children's Garden, downtown Portland. Check it out.
Wow.
Bye.
Thank you. I see a bouncing Molly. Anybody else have anything you'd like to share before we go? Before Molly leads us in song. Are you bouncing, Molly? Are you energetic? I think you are. Well, all right. I invite you to unmute, and maybe everyone could unmute, and you can start us off. Oh, hang on. Let me get in close first. I want to make you visit. It's really nice. It's nice not having that bright light behind you because we can see you. How do I do this? I forget. Spotlight. There you are. All right. So unmute, and then. I beg your pardon?
Can I tell you something first?
Yes.
I got my vaccine yesterday.
Yay! How does your arm feel today?
Yesterday was sore though.
It's a little sore. Well, good for you. That was brave of you. What a good
vaccine.
What a smart thing to do. Would you like to start us off on May All Beings Be Happy? So whenever you're ready.
May all
beings be happy.
May
all beings be happy.
May
all beings be happy. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Hooray! Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Molly.
Thank you, Molly.
Thank you,
Bye,
Molly.
Molly. Bye, Aaron. And bye, everyone. Thank you, Robert.
Thank you, Tamara.
Bye, Tamara.
Bye, Had. Have a great day, Mr. Trout. Coffee cup.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good morning, Had.
Hey.
Hi, Neil. Hi, Had.
Hey, Joe.
Have a good day, Dave.
Good morning.
Be well,
Hey, Molly.
everyone. Be well,
Hey, Dave.
Sangha.
Be well, be well.
Be well, yes, indeed. Are we going to Lightspeed soon, Robert, or what?
I think so. You ready? Are you
Okay.
buckled up?
All right, I think so. Make it so.
Prepare for the leap to hyperspace.